What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to the Sooner Surge podcast that tells it like it is. It's been a while since we've had any softball news, but boy, there is some softball news as we saw the Go Boomer tweet that Patty Gasso tweeted out, and everyone was wondering who could it be. I know there was rumblings of a pitcher that OU was after. A few people were talking about that, and now they've landed her. Miley Wachino out of Ole Miss will be a Sooner, and Jackson, you look at some of her numbers, and I know if you just look at her numbers at the beginning, you say, 16-11 or whatever she was, like 3.44 ERA around there. But she led Ole Miss in innings pitched, okay, which says a lot as a freshman. And then she had 19 strikeouts in one game, 172 strikeouts. She has the ability to be really, really special. And I think this is a really good get for Patty Gasso and Jen Rocha.
Right. And I think something that stands out to me is that she had 4 saves on the year. And whenever I saw the statistics, I was like, that's interesting because she pitched the most amount of innings and also had saves, which shows the versatility, I guess you could say, in which she can come into the game and still be a dominant arm, Jeremy. And I think this is kind of somebody that Rocha and Gasso are getting. She was a freshman last year. As you said, you see the 3.44 ERA, and you don't just think, man, that's just tremendous. But as a freshman, she's going to have time to come in, learn from the best pitching coach in the nation in Jen Rocha, from the best coach in the country in Patty Gasso. And this is a get in which talk about Oklahoma. They needed some more experience on their staff. And to be a true freshman, to go through the fire in the SEC in year one, because week in and week out, you're playing a good softball team. So to have that experience, you know what to expect coming into the SEC. And I think that's something that's big is she has that SEC experience, Jeremy. And I think that's going to be a big boost. Plus adding Bergeron out of LSU, Kirsten Deal pitching in the SEC. She'll be back. Audrey Lowry will be back, and to add her, that's 4 arms right there, Jeremy, that have SEC experience, and that is huge. You're muted.
The staff is massive. I mean, they've got 7 or 8. They got the young core that's coming in. I mean, you look at the young ones are coming in. They're elite out of high school. I mean, they're the best of the best of the best. Okay, you bring in Bergeron. You got Dylan Monticelli, who they're the veterans of the staff. You've got the best pitching coach, like you said, in Jen Rocha. But looking at Miley and what she did at Ole Miss, and I saw a couple of interviews with her. She's just very energetic. I think she's going to fit in so well with the other players, and she's going to bring energy as soon as she steps foot on campus. But anytime you're striking out 19 players in a game, okay, I don't care who you're playing. You got good stuff when you're striking out 19. And that's what she did. And you also talked about the saves. What that shows me is they weren't afraid to put her in big moments. 2 of those saves were against Arizona, who is number 12 in the country. Number 12 in the country. They had the guts and the confidence to bring Miley in those games. That tells you a whole lot about what they thought of her. And now she's changing the scenery and coming to Norman, Oklahoma. And Patty Gasso continues to just get exactly who she wants out of the portal. And that's what she did here today. I can't wait to see what Miley brings.
Right. And, you know, a lot of people are like, well, Oklahoma, they lost, Jeremy. The Dragon had been slayed. Like, we'll see what they can do. Well, they've got 2 phenomenal arms in the portal, which after the season was over, we immediately talked about, hey, they need to go and get some arms, Jeremy, and that's what they've done. It's been huge. You've seen what teams are starting to do, like Texas Tech transfers that they're getting. They're just going out throwing crazy money around. Well, Oklahoma, they're going to recruit people that fit their culture, Jeremy. And that's exactly what they've done. You talked about the energy she has in the interviews that you watch. I think that speaks to the high character players that Oklahoma has, just players that carry themselves with a certain attitude and demeanor, Jeremy, on this OU softball team. And I think she fits that. And then also whenever you just what? You're about to say something.
I was saying, well, energy doesn't mean has to do with the culture for me. It's just I like.
I'm talking about just like the way that they act on the field.
Yeah, I mean, and regardless, there hasn't been a whole lot in the portal, Jackson. I mean, Texas Tech,
No.
they swept up some of those. You're right. But pitching-wise, Bergeron and Miley Wino here, I mean, two of the top ones that any team could get out of the portal. And OU lands them both. So, to me, and look at the ones coming in, Jackson, because you got Bordy, who posted on her Twitter the other day. I thought it was really cool what she posted.
Yeah.
Sophia Bordy. You've got Alyssa Parker coming in. You got Zaki. And then you got Lowry on. I mean, they are absolutely stacked for the next few years. They're stacked. There's no way. You can say what you want. They likely won't have to even go get anyone out of the portal if they don't want to, because they have that much talent. And now it's, again, Gasso's going to have to figure out, and Rocha, who their person's going to be and how many innings they're going to throw. I mean, she threw over 140 innings, I think, in Ole Miss as a true freshman. That's a lot. So she's pitched a lot. And in the SEC, I think that's big, Jackson. She's pitched in the SEC where OU's that's where their home is. They're in the SEC conference now. So she's been around great teams, great opponents. She pitched against Oregon, I think, at Devon Park in the I believe so, as far as in the postseason. So she definitely has experience for a true freshman.
Yeah, and I think the depth, Jeremy, is going to be super key, in which we've seen Oklahoma in their championship runs. Yes, they are going to find somebody that is going to be that ace, because you have to have that in order to win a championship and compete for a championship as a softball team. But also, Oklahoma, something that we've talked about is that consistent second option. Kirsten Deal last year at times was pretty good. At times she struggled. So can Guachino come in? Can she be that, Jeremy? I think that's something to watch for. Audrey Lowry, it's going to be very, very competitive about who's going to step up, who's going to be that number two option you expect behind Sydney Bergeron, Jeremy. And I just, I think this depth with Patty Gasso's continued to do. You expect them offensively to be, again, one of the top
great
in the nation. Yeah. They almost have their whole entire team back. They were super young last year. They got to the semifinals. I know they didn't want to lose there, but to get there, for all these players to get that experience is huge. And next year, I think there's no reason why Oklahoma isn't back near at the mountaintop, Jeremy. The depth they have is impressive. They have the experience and experience. They have that now, and that's going to be super, super key.
Yeah, Miley Wino, the latest Sooner commit out of the portal. The Go Boomer tweet has been fulfilled. It's Miley Wino out of Ole Miss, another very, very good pitcher with high strikeouts. Someone who's going to bring the energy and bring the heat out of the circle. Sooners land, Miley Wino. Thanks for watching the content at the Sooner Surge. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, check out the FanStop at thefanstop.com. We'll catch you next time, Sooner Nation. Boomer.